Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site with plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. We're going to be looking at Classic X-Men 19 from 1988. Great cover here by the one and only Arthur Adams. He doesn't have a lot of issues left as cover artist. Terry Austin does provide the inks on this issue. It's kind of a funny looking Wolverine. Arthur Adams does absolutely one of the best Wolverines out there, but for some reason, this one just doesn't quite look good. It almost, I'm wondering if he was doing something else during this time because he doesn't seem to put the most effort on this cover, and yet it still looks so badass with Magneto there. So Storm is lovely as ever. So, all right, here is a original here, and so I always do Classic X-Men because of the supplemental material. It kind of tells you what the new pages are, and then of course it tells you about the backup story, humanizing Magneto, exploring his time as a Nazi hunter in the years following World War II. So, and then of course this covers X-Men 113. Here's kind of a full shot. So I have a playlist. So check it out. I plan on covering all of Chris Claremont's run on X-Men, and that everything. I plan to do the most comprehensive Chris Claremont um, ever, because I plan on covering everything in chronological order. So, all under one playlist. So you can see from the start of the X-Men all the way to the end, including stuff he's done currently that takes place in the past. So, all right. John Byrne gets his first plotting credit with Chris Claremont being the scripter. Of course, the supplemental material is all done by Claremont. And then John Bolton does the backup story, and Karen Doyer does the supplementals here. So, and Terry Austin actually inks the whole thing. Terry Austin's still around, so all right. Great front piece here. And so, showdown, and we see Magneto here, kind of going into this base here. So here they're saying how efficiently he made his way through. He's attacking the Royal Australian Aerospace Research Facility. So it almost looks like this is some kind of news giving of what's going on. They keep saying that nothing, that even the most advanced stuff is useless against Magneto. And so he uses his power kind of to stop the transmission so nobody can see what he's doing. So, and so this guy here is sort of narrating the stuff that's going on. And so we get a little bit here of the heroes. You know, the X-Men who were able to stop him, but Fantastic Four, the champions, have disbanded. The Avengers are under virtual house arrest by order of the American government. The X-Men seem to have vanished off the face of the earth. So we're now in Kyrinos in the Cyclades Island of southern Greece. And so Charles Xavier is with his girlfriend Lilandra. So it says here, Charles Xavier found this peaceful isle years before when he was bumming around the Mediterranean, trying to make sense of why Moira had left him. Now he's brought to Kyrnos, a woman he loves as much as he once loved Moira MacTaggert. Lilanda, Princess Majestrix of the Shi'ar and heir to the throne of a galaxy-spanning empire. And so she says here, I'm beginning to enjoy my temporary exile. True, Earth is primitive compared to Imperial Center, but being with Charles makes the difference. I cannot conceive of living my life without him. Yes, someday, possibly soon, I must, unless he will return to the Empire with me. Charles, are you well? And great screen tones here. Little vertical lines by Terry Austin. And he says, What's wrong, my love? You've been tense all week. And he says, it's the X-Men, Lilandra. I've lost my telepathic rapport I share with them. There could be a natural explanation, or they could be in deadly danger if I only knew, he says. Where are they, Lilandra? What's happened to my X-Men? The answer lies half a world away beneath the frozen wasteland that men call Antarctica. And so, if you're wondering how the X-Men are in this position, do have a playlist. So the robot says, "Good morning, children, and how are we feeling today?" And so she brings them food here. No one answers. They couldn't even if they wanted to. Magneto's seen to that. Their prison chairs not only naturalize each X-Men's power, they also reduce their physical abilities to those of a 6-month-old infant. Their minds are unimpaired, but their bodies are helpless. The X-Men well-being, their very lives, totally dependent on their robot nanny. So, I just don't understand this part. Why is Cyclops covered? Okay, so they if they can't get free, if they can't use their powers, then neither can Cyclops. So, naughty Wolverine, if you keep spitting up your food, you shall make Nanny very cross with you. So, oh, don't cry, puppet. Nanny didn't mean it. Nanny loves you. So, bath and massage for you today, Cyclops. And Cyclops says, that voice, like marshmallow soaked in honey. There must be a way out. Oh, beast, you've such marvelous silky fur. You are a joy to brush. I have an idea. Would you like bows for your hair? I'll see it. I'll see if I can find some, she says. So, I must be off, children. I'll be back at lunchtime. And this afternoon, before your naps, I'll read you a nice story. And of course, I think I'll scream. Lunchtime, 3 hours till then, maybe 4. And so we've got here Kieran Doyer drawing these. So this is part of that exposition that Claremont added. And so the X-Men kind of get little moments here. Storms has one kind of just repeating and just giving you inside like how terrible they feel, how they all just want to die, or not so much want to die, but just how hard this is for them here. So just exposition, but a lot of just Chris Claremont just loves to write, just puts so many words in there. So Storm calms her way down, and she's going to try and get she's trying to do some control here, and everyone's like, what is she doing? You can see here she's trying to would you say that's a tiara? So they call it a headpiece, but so she finally does. She goes, oh, it's almost where it is. And so she goes in there, and she's gonna, because remember, she used to be a thief. And a great screen tones again by Terry Austin here. And she grabbed one, and so she's going to use it to see if she can get it. And then she's remembering how she had been trained. So Cyclops is like, something's happening. I can taste it. If only there was some way I could help. And he's like, all right. And then Phoenix is like, poor Sky. He sounds like he's in agony. Well, because he's in dark. Because apparently that thing doesn't work on him. So, But at no time have they said it doesn't work on Cyclops. So use too much pressure. Tumblers are incredibly delicate. I can't force them, so you can see she's sweating. And she's trying, so she's remembering all these times that she had to learn, and suddenly, boom, and she drops that one, and so. Is anything the matter, children? I thought I heard someone cry out, and so then he comes and says, "Oh, you lost your headdress. No wonder you're so upset. Don't cry, Puppet. Here we are," and puts it right back. And so Storm just feels terrible because she was not able to free herself, and she begins to cry. So very touching moment there. And so it says here, time passes. 1,000 miles out in space, a small roving asteroid swings past the Earth in a wildly eccentric orbit. Its existence kept hidden from the ground-based radar and satellite sensors by an array of sophisticated electronic hardware, far superior to anything used by Russia or NASA. And so I think this part is also, yep, this is all new stuff. So the rock measures roughly a cubic mile, and though it is not listed on any chart, it has a name, Asteroid M. It is Magneto's home. And so you can see here some of the stuff, banking and like notes, talking with Stephen Hawking. So Magneto, it's kind of showing Magneto's a lot smarter than we give him credit. And so he's looking under this microscope here. He says, fascinating, very Spock-like. My power has made a quantum leap, not only in raw strength, but sensitivity as well. I can perceive and manipulate nuclear structures on a subatomic level. My discoveries during the last week alone have revolutionized particle physics. Any one of them would guarantee me a Nobel Prize and a place among the giants of scientific history, if I cared to claim it. But I care nothing for awards. This means this work is merely the means to an end, the truth of Homo superior. So it's all about mutant kind for Magneto here. The cause is all. Stomach growling, body so stiff. Can the chronometer be correct? Have I been working so long without a break? And so he thinks of his wife and daughter, which we covered in a backup tale. Again, just exposition here of humanizing Magneto, I guess. So remember, during this time, Magneto was sort of a good guy, although he would kind of go back to being Magneto. So didn't last long. We always get face turns, but man, I think we need a really good heel turn. I had an idea once at Marvel doing a heel turn with Peter Parker, because there are ways. I mean, there are stories that could be told. You can actually do a heel turn by just doing lots of really, 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 really bad things until Peter Parker cracks. I just you can always bring things back, but I think it would, because you always get heel turns with smaller things, but and it's not like, because you still have Miles Morales, Spider-Man. I mean, technically, you could do it. Think of it. So anyway, Magneto's going to go get ready. He's just here talking about mutants because Chris Claremont just loves to put words, so many words. So I'm not going to bore you with reading all this exposition. Just know that Magneto really cares for the cause of the advancement of mutants. And so we're back here to where we would have been left off. Since my resurrection, I've been subtly altering the magnetic field of the Earth, generating an impenetrable wall of psychic static to inhibit any and all long-range telepathic broadcasts. Your side link with your proteges, old friend, has been forever shattered. So this is why. So we get an explanation to how Charles Xavier cannot get or can't feel his students. So he hears that alarm, so he goes, it could be nothing, but it's best to take no chances. That base is still vital to me, and much of the data in its computer memory banks is irreplaceable. In the past, my powers were so diluted by my defeats that I no longer had the strength even to return to my old asteroid base, let alone rebuild it. This is way back in X-Men 5. Thanks to Eric the Red, that has changed. I am strong beyond belief. My powers untainted by time or wasted battles. Once I finish work on my asteroid, I'll have an impregnable fortress from which I shall teach all mankind that Magneto is truly master of the world. Um, so he's heading back to the volcano. By the way, I don't think Antarctica has any active volcanoes. I could be wrong, but I remember looking it up, and I don't think they have any. So Magneto's making his way, and so, um, he's heading down and sees Nanny rolling full speed in circles. So, oh, Nanny, I thought I built you better than this. No lights. No lights. Now I damage robots. The X-Men are more resourceful than I gave them credit for. I'll act as if nothing's amiss. Let them make the first move before I smash them down. The last laugh will be mine. And so, of course, X-Men hit him now, and he's hit. Um, Banshee most likely from the front and Cyclops from behind. And so I was ready, brace for their attack, but that was almost more than I could handle. He's down, troops. And Wolverine's gonna make sure he stays that way. No, Wolverine, you can't reach him before he recovers. You know the plan. Either follow it and my orders are back off. Understood? And so Cyclops, Phoenix is making sure Cyclops is linked. I love this panel showing him linked to everybody. So Wolverine says, yeah, boss man, now get out of my head. Um, Storm says, Cyclops wants me to draw all the humidity out in the air around Magneto, but the strain of starting work over again in that second lockpick, then freeing the others, left me so weak I can barely stand. I don't know if I can do it. Fools, you've given me time to regain my strength. And so Banshee hits him again, and he thinks here, that's what you think. Wolverine, go. He's all yours. And so Wolverine goes and tries to smash. This time he cuts. And he goes, Animal, when the battle's done, you'll pay for this. And just tosses Wolverine aside. Remember, his his bones are laced with metal. Who says you're gonna win? Says Phoenix, and so she goes and hits him. He's got a personal shield here, but it's going into trouble. They're using a hit and run strategy, giving me no opportunity to strike back. Lord, it's hot all of a sudden. I'm sweating like a pig. Is this part of their plan? You face the others, X-Men. Villainy, now in my turn. Colossus, simpleton, you are the one mutant they should never have sent. And he hits him. Ow, twice you have used me as a weapon against my friends, Magneto. It will not happen again. So, and Colossus like, I can't let him get control. Just have to keep hitting him. And so Cyclops calls out, Colossus, of all the stupid stunts, I told you to stay on the sidelines in human form. Why the blazes didn't you listen? And he goes, well, at least he's holding his own so far. And so here goes Beast to get ready to throw Nightcrawler. And Nightcrawler's like, there must be a better way. So off he goes, and then he teleports back, and then grabs the helmet. And so they take the opportunity to hit him, and suddenly things are melting off, and it's because Magneto was the one that was keeping the volcano at bay, or keeping them from and sorry, Colossus says, "Villain, what have you done?" And he says, "If we're doomed, X-Men, the blame is yours. Phoenix Blast destroyed the main control console system. All over the complex are running wild, and you can't do a thing to stop them." And so, what do we do now, Cyclops? We're a mile beneath a live volcano. I don't think that yeah, but that's okay. It's comic books. We're not gonna overthink it. And so Cyclops is like, I don't know what to do. And Magneto's like, hurry up, Cyclops. Your team's depending on you, and you're running out of time. Wait a minute. The answer's right in front of us. Have Magnetos take us out of here the same way he brought us in, inside a magnetic force bubble. And so, an interesting thought, Elf, but I think not. Where Magneto walks, he walks alone. Stop it, someone. He's our only hope. And he's like, all things are exploding. Much obliged for the save, Irish, but what's the point? Sooner or later, we're all going to run out of places to go. And so, till then, Shrimp, we're alive. And while we're alive, we don't give up. Watch it, Genie. Hank, Jean, Storm Banshees, help me blast a channel through this lava. We've got to get to them. Cyclops, the roof is caving in. And so, the complex is filling with lava. It's time I took my leave. I must move fast. When the lava reaches the thermal converters, the base of the complex of this place will go up like Krakatoa, which is a volcano that was so powerful it basically collapsed. So, when that happens, I prefer to be elsewhere. I seriously underestimated the X-Men. Somehow Cyclops got the team to fight as got them to fight as a team instead of individuals. They had rough edges, true, but they were dangerous. Getting to the surface is taking longer than I anticipated. I'm hurt, broken ribs, maybe worse. Must call on last reserves of power to make the ultimate efforts. And so he comes out, made it. And so then the volcano erupts, and Magneto says, "It is over. Even in death, X-Men, you seek to thwart my plans. I'm alive, but thanks to Colossus, it will be months before I'm well enough to resume my work. Months during which my plans will lie dormant, gathering dust. But I am alive, X-Men, and my one consolation is that when at last I bring my plans to fruition and mankind to its collective needs, you will not be there to interfere." But, boom, here comes Phoenix. And she's with Beast here. "You okay, Hank?" "First singed some, but I'm not complaining, though. I thought we were dead for sure," he says. "But you got us to the surface. You saved us. It's the least I could do for an old friend." And she collapses. Jean collapses a lot. She's got all this power, and she's just constantly like, ugh. Still kind of damsel in distress a little bit. So she's unconscious, and her pulse is so weak I can barely feel it. "I've got to get her to a doctor," says Beast. So, but where do I find one 1,000,000,000 miles from nowhere? And I'm stuck on a foot in Antarctica with a dying girl in my arms, in the middle of the night in a blizzard. Come to think of it, I don't feel so well myself. I'll be lucky if I go a mile before I drop. And so he goes like a less than 100 yards. "No more strength. Don't understand. Gotta pick up Jean now. Come on for a minute. I'll rest." And so here Beast kind of lands on top of Phoenix, and it says to be continued with a question mark. So, all right. And so we're going to see some of the changes that were made. This was the original down here, and then we see all the verbiage that Chris Claremont added. So again, they removed that, and so we're now going to get our backup story here, drawn by John Bolton here. And so we're not told where we are here, but we'll see. We'll look here. So not so long ago, in the fullness of their youth, they were the masters of Europe. They sang the horsed whistle and goose-stepped their arrogant way from the Atlantic to the Caucasus. Old memories, happy days. Now they blake in the South American sun and dream of the moment when the Fourth Reich will rise from the ashes of Third. So probably in what was that country? Argentina. So they were conquerors. They're not used to being hunted. Refugees, prey. And so here we're in German. So, what's the problem, Corporal Schmidt? Stranger in the road ahead, approaching the main gate. I won't answer my challenge. Probably nothing. Better safe than sorry. Besides, troops could use the target practice. And so they hit the alarm. And here we see someone walking in the roadway, John Bolton, creating enough that you can kind of see that it's jungle, but without too much, So Stan Lee presents I Magneto. So I think it's the second time that, because X-Men 150 was also called I Magneto. So who is he, Sergeant? What does he want? Why is he looking at us so? Don't like that smile. Too cold by half. Devil take it. Orders or not, I'm shooting the swine. At which point the stranger glows, so he's using his powers here. And the fortress calls come tumbling down. So they shoot him. Of course, Magneto is able to protect himself. And they're going to use this cannon. And Magneto yells out, "Fool, your weapons are metal. And all metal is but putty in the hands of the master of magnetism." So he shoots him. Of course, that doesn't work. And it's funny that these people know that, yet they keep shooting. So that's all right. So he's going to hurl that tanker at him. And so, how the mighty have fallen, or is it your craven cur brought finally to bay? And he says, I was a soldier. Please, not that old song, he says. Serving my country in wartime, doing my duty as best as I saw fit, only following orders. I'm not the one you need to convince, Richter. I'm the hunter, not the judge. That happy task is the responsibility of the courts in Israel. You expect a Prussian officer to receive a fair trial from Jews? Fairer by far, I suspect, than the justice you meted out on the Russian front, where women and children so deadly a threat that you had to slaughter them with such enthusiasm. Well, what have we here? The spoils of war, Richter? And so suddenly Magneto just seems hurt, huge pain. And so it passes him, leaving him alive and almost wishing it wasn't. Never been so bad. These seizures strike now whenever I use my powers. And so this guy's like plotting something. So the more he uses, or the harder he uses his powers, and the harder he's hit. So he says, look what I found. With the information in her files, oh my goodness, I can't say that. I'll be able to smash Odessa, the underground spy and mercenary network run by and for your renegade fugitive Nazis. Once and for all, it calls for celebration, So he can tell that Magneto's in pain. Says he's in agony. For all his superhuman ability, the swine has limits. Control, this is Magneto. I have a package for you. Hans Richter. I know it's unexpected, so was my finding him. What's the matter? Don't you like surprises? No, I'm fine. I just have a slight headache, he says. So Rio de Janeiro, 2 weeks later. And so he's reading the paper here. Charles Xavier, the world's foremost authority in human genetic mutation, its potential for good and evil. Still the idealist, my friend. Dreaming of a world where mutants and normal humans can coexist in peace. We hate so easily, I suspect you ask more than humanity is capable of giving. So, it's been an age since we corresponded. Shame to let those ties slip loose. Perhaps time to reestablish them. He has become a teacher. Perhaps I can help. And so this lady says, your pardon, senor, but is senor aware? And he's like, what the? And she says that it is a cardinal sin for anyone to be dressed so formally on the beach of Ipanema on the eve of a carnival. This, I'm afraid, is as uninhibited as I get. For shame, dear heart. You'll never make a carioca. Sorry I'm late. I don't mind. You've always been well worth any wait. And she says, flatterer. So, although I must confess, Isabel, in that costume, I'd never think of you as my coolly professional physician. That's why I insisted on meeting you here, to present the wild side of my nature. Do you mind? She asks. And so they kind of making out, and she goes, "What is it? Suddenly you're all tense. Forgive me, Isabel. I thought I wanted. I can't. I hold you. I think of Magna, my wife." And she goes, "You said she deserted you. Our daughter burned to death before our eyes. I went mad. I used my powers to slay the mob who kept me from saving her. Magda, she called me inhuman, monster. I thought that wound would have healed, but it's still raw. I cannot forget the look of absolute horror in her eyes, hear the terror in her voice, the agony that rival our child's. What manner of a man am I to inspire such reactions in the woman I loved? A good man tormenting himself needlessly." And she's like, "What? My head throbbing," and he's in pain. "You should be in a hospital. To what end? All your tests can find neither cause nor cure for my condition," he says. Perhaps this will make a difference. And so she gives him a neck rub. But we kind of see a figure here. So we do, and that is approaching. And a great, just see that, and suddenly the blood. So we don't really see her throat slit, but we know what happened. And so Magneto yells her name, Isabel. And so we see this guy has her. Very nice, Rod. Professional on those hours, always. And he goes, "Control, I don't understand. What's the meaning?" And he says, "That should be obvious. A bucko, why couldn't you simply have done what you were told? But no, you had to hot dog it. Go harrying off on your own. That never mattered before. That was when you were sanctioning their Nazis the other side. Richter was one of ours, a very important asset. You made some waves with that keeper, Magneto. Now they're going to drown you." Hours stares. "What the devil are you talking about? There were Nazis, war criminals. Wake up, my man, and smell the coffee. See the world as it is. The Russians are the enemy, and we'll work with whoever we have to beat them. If accomplishing that means turning to some of Adolf's boys, them's the breaks. We'll use them the same way we will with you muties." Sorry. So, "I trusted you, Control. I believe the lies you told me. By Hades, you're worse than they could ever be." And then, of course, he gets it again. "Give me credit, old sport, for not being a complete idiot. I'm your case officer. I spoke to Richter. I know what you can do with magnetism," he says, and everybody's kind of waiting. "So I had a whiz-bang science boy rig the means of countering it. Nifty. You used your power on me or the boys, and reflected back to you, amplified tenfold. But if that's the way you want to go, suit yourself. Me, I can't stand pain. Why, Isabel, why didn't you come for me when I was alone? Our associates wanted their pound of flesh. Sorry, pal, you played the big leagues. It's better not to have friends. Look at the bright side. At least you'll be rid of these pesky headaches." And so, "No, I'll not be killed. Not here, not like this. Not by such as you." And you see this huge explosion. "Little man, have you no notion of who you're dealing with? I am Homo Superior, the next generation of humanity, heir apparent to this paltry planet. As Cro-Magnus supplanted Neanderthal, so shall we you. And I have you to thank, Control, for showing me the truth." And he says, "You're insane." And Magneto says, "No, enlightened. For at last, for the first time, my eyes are truly open. My destiny's clear." And so, you are like children, intellect and power without the maturity to either without the maturity to use either responsibly, unfit to rule the lives of or world. Better to be ruled instead by one who shall make sure you know and keep your place. It is neither communists nor Nazis you have to fear, Control. It is we, who your short-sighted stupidity will make your foes. It is I who shall lead my people to the glory they deserve. I, mutant. I, Magneto. I, Magneto. And he sees her body there. And the dream dies, and the nightmare is born. And then, of course, we get this beautiful backup cover. So this would have been the back cover because there were no ads in Classic X-Men. So, and this is a great image. I love it. So, all right. So, Classic X-Men number 19 by Chris Claremont, John Byrne, Kieran Doyer, and John Bolton. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.